Hi boys and girls, this video is for lesson 3, factor trees. This lesson is basically taking a number and factoring it out to prime numbers. So I'll break it down for you. What you see here is a factor tree, okay? So let me get the whiteboard and explain to you how that works. So let's say 24. Okay, we have 24. And you're going to think of any two factors that would equal to 24. So anything but 1 and itself. So you cannot use 1 times 24. You can use 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 6 times 4, and write them, hold on, here. So I'll go with 2 times 12, okay? So I'll write 2 on this side and 12 on this side. Now, the goal is to continue factoring out each number until you get prime numbers. Now, what are prime numbers? Remember, prime numbers are any numbers that only have 1 times itself. So 2 is prime. Why? Because only factors of 2 are 1 times 2. 12 is not prime because it is composite, okay, which means that it's got more than those factors of 1 times itself. So for 12, we can think of 2 times 6, 3 times 4. You can use any one of those that you'd like, any combination that equals 12. I'll go with 3 times 4. Okay, and I'll write 1 on the one little line and the other factor on the other line. Now, 3 is already prime, so I cannot continue factoring out that number. But 4 is composite. I can continue factoring out 4. And the factors of 4 are 2 times 2, okay? And technically, you're done once you have all prime numbers. So the goal is to write your answer like this. Find all the factors that are prime. So at the end of each little, I guess, factor tree or line, you would consider those numbers your answers. You can write your answer in 2 ways. Okay, I'll show you. From least to greatest, you can write 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, you don't include the 12 and the 4. Why? Because those numbers were factored out. So basically what you want is to get the end of each factoring or each little line. So you would write them in order from least to greatest. We had 3 2s and 1 3. Or you can write your answer with exponents. So we have 3 2s, so we would write 2 to the 3rd power times 3. They're both the same thing. So either one would be correct, okay? Let's do another example. Let's say that we had a bigger number, such as 140. Okay, because you are going to see those in your classwork. I'm going to think of, let me make this smaller. Okay, you're going to think of 2 factors that equal 140. Now my advice to you is, since this ends in a 0, think of a factor that includes 0, such as 10. So we can do 10 times 14. Why? Because we're going to finish faster, as opposed to doing 2 times 70. Well, maybe you could do 2 times 70, but regardless, I chose 10 times 14, okay? Now, these are both composite numbers, so that means that I have to continue factoring them out. So 10 has factors, 2 times 5, okay? 2 is prime, so I'm done factoring out that number. 5 is also prime, so I don't have to continue factoring it out. So you know what, I'll circle them now so I don't get confused. Those are going to be part of my answer. 14 is composite, meaning I can continue factoring it out. Again, you cannot use 1 times 14, okay? You're going to use the other set of factors, which is 2 times 7. Now we're done because 2 is already a prime number, as we can tell already. And 7 is also prime. It only has factors of 1 times itself. Okay, so in our answer, we're going to write these 4 numbers in order from least to greatest. Okay, so we'll write 2 times 2 times 5 times 7. Now if you were to actually do the math and multiply these four numbers, you'd get 140, and that's the best way you can check your answer, multiplying these to make sure you get the number you started with. 2 times 2, 4 times 5, 20. 20 times 7 is 140, okay? Now if you want to write it the other way, you can do 2 to the second power times 5 times 7. And if you want to take it a little bit further, like I taught you guys before, whoops, I almost forgot. 2 to the second power, the dot, 5 dot. Remember that dot means multiplication as well. Okay, so either way would be fine. Any one of these three forms actually is fine. Let's see in the classwork what else they have us do. Make sure that I've covered everything for you. 21, that's an easy number. 8, 45, 350. There you see, you have the bigger numbers. Let's do a number like 72. We'll do I'll do 81, because 81 tends to be a little bit trickier. All right, so we have the number 81, okay? They want us to factor it up. 81 is not prime, okay? 9 times 9. 9 is not prime either. It tends to be something that we get confused with. Just because it's an odd number does not mean it's prime. 9 is 1 times 9, but it also has 3 times 3. Okay, those are prime numbers, 3 times 3. So we're going to circle them because they're going to be part of our answer. And 3 times 3 again. Now, to make it easier, when you have the same numbers repeated, just use the exponent. Instead of having to write 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 4 times, just do 3 to the 4th power, which represents 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, okay? That's it. That's basically how you factor out numbers. And in middle school, you are going to use this a lot. I remember explicitly factoring out numbers endlessly when they were bigger numbers, and they did not allow us to use calculators or any of that sort. I had to use paper pencil. So if you have any questions, if this video doesn't explain everything that you still don't understand, just send me an email and we can do a Google Meet. But I really hope it helps. You can watch it over and over again if need be. Okay, so have a great day, and we'll do our next lesson tomorrow. Bye guys.